Hello and welcome back to the O'Rourke Report. I have been away. Well, I haven't really been away. I've been too busy rewatching season 2 of Severance in anticipation for the season finale. And let me assure you, it was Kier, chosen one, Kier. Completely obsessed. Cannot wait for season 3. In fact, when is season 3 going to be? Hold a sec. I'm thinking, have they started filming? I don't think so. Hope it's been written. Hold on. Ugh. It won't be till 2027. So we've got to wait. We don't have 3 years, but we certainly not within the next year. So, unfortunately. Okay. Let's get to the only thing that's really happened in the Bravo world, in my mind, in the past week. And that has been the social media sniping from the cast of Summer House that Southern Charm has not backed away from, except for Craig. Craig has been Caesar's wife in this. He's been above reproach. And I love that about Craig. He's so very smart. And he is saying and doing all the right things to stay above the fray. And also, in my estimation, the Summer House people don't have a leg to stand on when it comes to the complaint department. I really don't. In my mind, I believe that Craig, well, let me go back. I believe that Paige always gave short shrift to anything that went on in Charleston. I believe some of the things that are being said by some very straightforward cast members, in my mind, Madison, Miss Patricia, that Paige could have cared less about Charleston or doing anything to help Craig's show. Meanwhile, Craig really went out of his way to help promote her show and to appear on her show and to participate in her show. So, you can tell where my loyalties lie in this. My loyalties, my vote goes for the Southern Charm crew and their cast, and especially the way that Craig is behaving. That's my 2 cents on that. If you don't agree, please give me your 2 cents in the column. I'd really like to hear it. Okay, hold on a sec. Let's get on to what else we can talk about. Okay, let's go back to the Craig and Austin discussion on why Craig is not out partying with Austin anymore. And like I said, I do not get why Austin has to be told by Craig that he pulled back because they were both drinking way too much and it wasn't doing anything to help either of them. Why does this have to be spelled out for Austin? Doesn't he know that he was drinking to excess? He wasn't doing anything. He was being very Shep-like in his behavior. Don't understand why it had to be spelled out for Craig, but it appears that it has been spelled out and he has been able to decipher the message. Okay, good deal. Yeah, of course, down on Southern Charm, we see the crumbling of the relationship between Craig and Paige. Craig seems to be oblivious to it. He's trying everything he can to hold it together because he believes that they are going to get married and they are going to settle down together and they are going to have children. And what he doesn't see is her behind his back rolling her eyes. So he's seen it now. The other big story of Southern Charm this year was everybody piling on JT and the JT Venita love triangle. And I don't know if that we're going to get any resolution during the reunion, which is coming up this week. I've heard very varying stories from Vanita on this, and I still don't get the JT bashing. I don't get it. I think if there was something there, the producers would show it. That's their job, to show us behaviors in that people are putting forth that would explain other people's reaction to them. I don't know if I put that completely right. But when the cast as a whole is reacting to a certain way to a cast member, wouldn't the producers be showing us why they're all feeling that way? Still, they're not showing us. Don't know what it's all about. Don't know what the real story is. But again, I feel that my sympathies are with JT because I think it's kind of looking like a bullying situation. Okay. Yeah. Atlanta, I'm gonna say something about the Housewives franchise as a whole, all of them. And especially it's really come to a head, I think, in Beverly Hills, that this is all the shows are about now. And I'm getting kind of sick of it. I'm getting to the point where I'm not paying attention to the shows. I see where it's going. I know where it's going. I peek back in, when they change venues or scenery, but it's the same thing over and over again. The purpose of the show was for these women to wear great outfits. Every single one of them are glam squatted to the nines. Some of their outfits are fabulous, and all they do is get together. They have divided into teams. Sometimes, players on the periphery of each team switch sides back and forth. But the casts are always split, not necessarily down the middle, but they're always split. They get together, and every single episode is a squabbling fight. Who can be nastier to the other one? Who can say the more hurtful thing to the other one? And I'm just sick of it. And I'm sick of the cast members like Kyle Richards, who is clearly, according to Reza from the Shaws of Sunset, clearly in a lesbian relationship with her little, country singer. Um, Yet she's hiding it, doesn't want to admit it, doesn't want to discuss it all. Meanwhile, we think back to a couple of seasons back when supposedly Denise Richards, who I think is very open about she and her husband having an open relationship. I think open in that they both participate in whatever thruples they have or whatever they have, however they express themselves sexually. I don't know, and I really don't care. But we harken back to a couple of seasons where everybody, led by Kyle, were dumping on Kyle Richards about allegedly trying to bring Brandy Glanville into a throuple situation. And gee, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, Kyle. And she's been, confronted with this hypocrisy recently in the various blogs. And she deflects that by saying, well, didn't we learn anything from that Denise Richards experiment situation? Because people came down on her and the other cast members for trying to embarrass and shame Denise Richards. I don't know, is she claiming that people are trying to embarrass and shame her now? I mean, and who cares if you're in a lesbian relationship with this girl to the point that it broke up your marriage? Maybe your husband was cheating, you caught him on it, and you decided to pursue your true whatever. I don't get why it's such a hard thing for you to admit, Kyle Richards. But then again, as I pointed this out before, she's an executive producer, so she has some kind of say over the edit. And between that, them crafting their own stories, and how each and every episode devolves into the same squabble match, it's just it's just a formula that's getting really long in the tooth. Didn't I read the other day that the Real Housewives of the OC started 19 years ago? Is it 19 years ago? Well, yeah, okay. You know, I think it's not only art, but it's really on its way down. I don't see how it can change, actually. I don't see how it can change. Okay. We had our season ending of Married to Medicine. They had the Bridgerton episode. It's one little note I have here, and I think it's worth pointing out. I went on the last O'Rourke report about if you're going to have a Rolls Royce, please get a chauffeur. Well, apparently King, Quad's boyfriend, is the one who owns the dealership that I don't know if he just sells luxury automobiles or if he sells and leases automobile, but I think he's the common factor on why all these Atlanta-based shows all are driving around in a Rolls Royce. We see one thing, I think this was in Atlanta, where Kenya pulls up to the restaurant driving her own Rolls Royce. Someone else pulls up to the restaurant driving their own Rolls Royce. Of course, we know Shamia owns her own Rolls Royce. None of these people have chauffeurs. They should look to Miss Patricia and Southern Charmed, who's the only one who knows how to own a Rolls Royce, and that is in conjunction with a driver. I know, sounds very elitist. I'll never be able to afford it, but don't want to afford it. If I had that money, the last thing in the world I would get would be a Rolls Royce. I think the term is gauche, a little gauche, don't you think? So, yeah, we treated to more of Sutton, slugging back vodka down there in St. Lucia. Surprise, surprise. Craig, you so out of line asking Paige to, and here is, again, I'm going to go to Summer House. Why is Craig so out of line? This is last summer when he thinks there's a future. Why is he so out of line asking Paige about where her priorities are? Is it, working towards a relationship, or is it growing her brand with that podcast she has with the unlikable Hannah Berner? Why was that so online? But then they get the harpies, who like the harpies. Gosh, that's harsh. You get the Greek chorus. I don't know. Is that pejorative, Greek chorus? Let me check that out. No, it's not. The Greek chorus of Ciara and Amanda, just egging her on, telling her that he's got a lot of nerve to ask you to prioritize anything. Really? All right, relationships, a marriage, what, supposed to be two people agreeing to go together in life with common goals. Listen, I got a word of advice for Kyle at a summer house. Get out now. Get out now, Kyle. There are no children. Doesn't look like there's going to be any children in the foreseeable future. Pay her whatever you need to get rid of her, and let her go build her a swimsuit brand and live that fabulous life that she is so convinced you're stopping her from doing. Not a huge fan of Kyle, but in this case, I see just more disaster in his future coming. I couldn't be more negative today, could I? What's my problem? Is it Severance? Is it, I was so wrapped up in that show this week. It was just so good. And of course, the season ending was incredible. So if you folks have not started Severance, you can binge both seasons 1 and 2 now if you want. I will say that the first 1 and 2 episodes of season 1 are so confused, not so confusing, they're not so confusing, but you may think none of these things make sense, but they make sense very quickly if you just stick with it past episode 2 into 3 and 4, and by you're into 5 you are completely hooked. And let me tell you, they answer a lot of questions in season 2, and of course the season finale not only answers questions but then poses more questions, logically posed more questions. And unlike shows like Lost, remember Lost, I mean, it started out so great and then it just devolved into a mess. It's not like that at all. And there's not a point where you say, hey, well, what about this that happened in episode 7? Doesn't happen. They answer questions so good, and really love the show. Okay, so let me consult my little book here. Oh, here we go. Yeah, again, I'm going to go to Summer House, two of my faves. I like Jesse and I like West. I think poor West is trying his best to tiptoe around Ciara, who's very sharp tongued, very much, the queen of the Greek chorus with Amanda and Paige. She's decided she's got every right to treat him like crap in front of the camera, behind the camera, try to make him as uncomfortable as possible. It's such childish behavior. And let me tell you, I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of that when I was in high school or, shortly thereafter. Um, you just give someone the cold shoulder and you want to freeze them out. That's what she's doing to West. Uh, and without a good reason. Their relationship was a non-starter completely last summer. She let him know it was a non-starter. She very much kept him at arm's length. I think when he finally did that interview with the New York Times, their relationship was dead and over with. It had been gone for months. Why is she getting so upset? They take no responsibility for their behavior. The Amandas and the Ciaras of the world. They take no responsibility. And Paige, no responsibility for their own behavior. And ay, ay, ay. Jesse flirting with Ciara. Now his girlfriend, the girl he professes to be so madly in love with, who's already told him she's got a jealousy issue. She's away for the weekend. I don't know if she had a prior commitment, a photo shoot or something with her family. She's not there. And of course, her worst fears become true because Jesse is flirting madly with another girl. In this case, he's flirting madly with Ciara. Is he cute? Is he adorable? Yeah, he's all those things. But for a jealous girl who maybe isn't, who has, maybe she's got self-esteem issues. I don't know. I don't know exactly what the issue is, but she has those and she's confessed those to him. I'm sure it breaks her heart when she finds out, or maybe when there's going to be more we're going to learn about that. There's going to be, I have this, I despair for these idiots. I don't know why I wrote that. I despair for these idiots. No. Oh, and then here's another one from Summer House. Paige claims that her dreams of a comedy tour is something she's been dreaming of since she was 5 years old. Haven't we seen her on the show for 6 or 7 years now? Have you ever once heard about her dreaming about a comedy tour? Unbelievable. Oh, I will say this, and then I'm going to go to Southern Charm. I say this all the time. This is the charm of Southern Charm. And it's the good-looking men who know how to dress. I mean, they all look fabulous in their black tie, except for Shep, who for some reason came in a Civil War esque, adjacent navy blue jacket with the military buttons. Didn't get it. All the other men looked absolutely the way men should look. They just Handsome, handsome, handsome. So anyway, that's all I've got today. Like I said, I was just like totally caught up in Severance. So if you guys get a chance to, you want to see some superior acting, incredible directing, the cinematography, and the writing are on a level that you want your TV to be. And Apple's done it once again. Season 2 finale of Severance was incredible. So, blessed Kia, thank you so much. And oh, I forgot to say this at the beginning. If you want to be notified every time we put out new content, and I hope you do, please hit that subscribe button and hit the like button, ding dong, and that will go well, a long way to help me out. Gosh, I'm having a hard time today. Okay, thank you so much, and I will look forward to seeing you again here on the O'Rourke Report.